Would you spend hundreds of dollars on a toy made in someone's garage? Because that's exactly what's happening here.
Welcome to Ishcon.
Welcome to Ishcon.
Welcome to Ishcon.
Ishcon.
Shut the front door.
I came to North Carolina for a toy convention.
I've been doing this 25 years. Other than online, it's the first one I've seen in person.
But what I found was something way bigger.
I got hooked again.
And you got it for you.
I got a couple for me.
A room full of independent creators, Kickstarter prototypes, custom builds, and collectors dropping serious cash on stuff you won't find at Walmart or Target.
But if you didn't go into Walmart and Target, that's kind of limiting the access for the younger generation.
These aren't big corporations. These are artists, parents, and teenagers building their own toy lines and convincing grown adults to invest real money in toys you've never heard of.
Action Force figure over a G.I. Joe any figure any day of the week.
But somewhere in between the glow-in-the-dark mutants and the handmade dioramas, I started asking myself, why are collectors betting on indie toys instead of the stuff we all grew up with? And is any of this actually worth it? Hey, stick around. By the end of this video, I'll give you an answer. But fair warning, it might make you want to start a toy company.
Okay, Matt, so today we have like 8 interviews to do. We have an entire convention and a lobby swap, 2 panels. Do you think these mics are actually gonna last?
Oh, no, I bought an extra pair. Rode mics, the best mic in the business.
Wait, what just happened?
I bought an extra pair of the Rode Go mics. Bad audio will ruin the best video. And with these wireless go-tos, they have internal recording, so you'll never miss a shot.
Matt, who the are you talking to?
No one, sorry.
Today, we are going to Ishcon 2025. Inside this convention, we are gonna see how people are spending their time, their money, and hopefully finding their grails to add to their collection. The line is already forming, so we are trying to find out how people are investing their time, which we can see how they're investing their time, and their money this weekend, and talk to all the vendors. I'm making it a goal to talk to every single vendor, because I can. Where are you from?
Well, originally from Brooklyn, New York, and Jamaica, Queens, and now I reside here.
Okay, nice. And so, big toy collector?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah? You got a
Absolutely.
big collection at home?
I would say so.
What do you collect?
Oh man, Marvel Legends, Valaverse, DC when it was the DC classics. I wasn't much of a McFarlane fan. I got away from collecting, over time. 'Cause I was the G.I. Joes and all of that. Then for my sons, I started buying figures. I got hooked again.
And you got it for you?
I got a couple for me. And then
Nothing for the sons.
I did, but see, by then they went to the video games, They
Yeah.
had transition.
So they're not collecting?
Nah, not really. Not really.
Okay,
My
okay.
grandchildren, they are.
What's one toy that you're emotionally attached to, even though it's basically worthless?
I wouldn't say worthless. Original, I think it was 1964 G.I. Joe.
Anybody want to talk to toy addicts? Are you a collector?
I just started.
Oh,
This
yeah?
guy right here got me started. Chris, come on up here.
So you're the peer pressure.
Yes, he is.
What are you mostly trying to get today with
The exclusives.
Yeah?
That's why I'm here early right now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd be in bed still.
what is your collection? What does it consist of?
Mostly G.I. Joes and Valaverse.
Okay, cool. How long have you been going to conventions?
This is the first one we've been to.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, welcome to the world. And who knows? It could be an addicting thing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is there anything that you collect?
So his collection actually inspired me to start collecting Legos. But honestly, this is for him.
We're checking it out.
We're checking
So
it
what
out for
you're
him.
saying is you're not going to drop money today. He's dropping money.
Well,
We are Ginger Kid Collectibles. This is my dad. I'm Chance. Hoping to have a fun time at Ish, just selling. trying to make some money, take it back for our new store.
Oh, nice. New store.
Yeah, we're opening our brick and mortar store in 2 weeks on the 31st in Athens, Georgia.
Wow, congratulations. That's awesome. So
very, very excited.
Were you guys typically doing conventions?
Yeah, our model has been pretty much doing conventions throughout the Southeast, Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, North Carolina. And we've had a very, very good success rate in the shows that we've done. The mythic and cosmic community has been great to us. So we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule of opening our brick and mortar. So we're super excited about that.
That's so nice. Good.
So this set here, it builds Galactus. It's the old Toy Biz Build-A-Figure set. And I've got all 12 of the figures, including the variants for this set. And they build the big Galactus figure. That's probably the craziest thing. We also build Apocalypse, and we sold the Sentinel. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, and these are just cool. Some of the older toy lines that, you know, this is the stuff that we get in trade for newer stuff. So we love to put it out because it's where everything kind of came from. We're collectors.
Yeah.
As well, and we're here to put collectors, you know, figures in people's hands and cards as well, because we understand how difficult it is to find these things. So that's kind of our niche, is smaller independent lines. We carry Four Horsemen, Spiro Toys, and we just became retailers for Valaverse. So we're super happy. We've got our first big order in of Action Force, so when we open the store, we're going to have a ton of Action Force figures, as well as everything else that we carry. We do carry the main lines as well, but we want to really specialize in independent lines.
Okay, so you're looking for like the newer things.
Yeah, the newer things, because honestly, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from McFarlane or Hasbro or Mattel. They do great things, but your independent shops are where all the new things are happening. The figures are doing. Action Force, for example. Action Force figure over a G.I. Joe any figure, any day of the week. Any day of the week. It's a superior figure. The weapons are better. You get ghillie suits. The vehicles are better. It's a better product. And Hasbro used to have that guy working for them.
A brush guard, a cow catcher,
Ooh.
and the cow catcher as a combo.
Ooh, show the camera.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Mad Max vibes to it.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like highly customizable. Window armor, but there you can pop the window armor out because the new doors don't have windows, and then we put like some bullet ricochets on them.
It should be in our warehouse in 2 weeks, possibly 3. So like the first week of June, we'll have them up on the site.
We're kind of surrounded by a lot of like new things, but I see in here we've got some good retro stuff. What do you feel about the new stuff?
It's cool stuff. I mean, you know, there's a lot of, you know, reissues or redone types of toys, and then they got a lot of the Legion stuff where it's just brand new product, you know. And for someone who's looking for a different toy line or something similar to what they collected, that's a pretty good market for it.
But you're retro, is that
we do a lot of retro. We do everything from a vintage to modern, so we have a little bit of everything, but I do tend to love the older stuff.
Yeah, what do you collect at home?
Transformers.
Transformers, okay, cool. What is your most rare piece?
The R5D4 with the red bar variant. Because usually that little small bar next to that one's usually white. This one's $500.
Have you seen one of those before?
No, I've been doing this 25 years. Other than online, it's the first one I've seen in person.
What's the most expensive toy that you've ever sold?
Sealed on card vinyl cape Java for $4,500.
Wow. What did the buyer say about that?
He walked in with a cashier's check and walked home with it.
Which toy line is undervalued right now, and which ones are way overhyped?
Overhyped, I'd say Funko. We have to bear it because people are looking for it, so we carry it. I mean, but it took us 5 years to even start because I don't do the fad stuff. So we wanted to wait and see how it would do, and it just exploded. So we do carry it. Undervalued, just so much out there. Like they started coming back with the original Migos. Those are cool 8-inch figures, and they do different lines and stuff. And when they came back out, they reissued some of the originals, and they did a different TV shows and movie stuff that had never been done before. So it was cool seeing that come back. Original 1968 Matchbox set, still sealed, with the brown wrapper on it too.
Where did you find that?
A gentleman came into his store, and his mom would buy him and his brother sets. And by the time she was buying this stuff, they were into other stuff, so this sat up in the attic forever. So he's like, "Oh yeah, I found this," you know.
That's so crazy that like people just held on to it. Like,
I mean, that's how I got that sealed vinyl cape. Jawa is, you know, guy's mom or aunt bought it for him, left it in the drawer, and he's like, "Oh, what's this?" You know?
Yeah. What is the most outrageous thing that you've ever spent money on?
We did have one of the rare Funkos come through. It was a droids colored Boba Fett from the European Convention. It was a $2,300 Funko. We didn't spend that to get it, but that was expensive to get.
So that was for the store, but
yes.
What about for your personal at-home collection?
Something in my Transformers collection.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have our Savage Crucible figures here. We also have Collegiate Legends on the end, so anybody that's a college football fan, we have some awesome surprises for you guys of what's coming out this year.
What's your personal collection?
Oh man, so I collect Vala. I collect a lot of NECA things, so Predators. I was collecting a lot of Predators prior. I slowed down a little bit now, but I'm doing the D&D figures, collecting that. And then of course Savage Crucible. Got some foreign toy lines too that I'm really interested in. I just got a horse from Fish Toys, really nice articulated horse. And then, you know, always on the lookout for new and exciting things. You know, it's great actually being at this con because there's a lot of indie companies.
When did you start collecting?
Man, so this is a pretty interesting question for me. So originally in the 90s, I lived in Greece. So my uncle would visit every summer, and he would bring me a lot of Toy Biz. So Spider-Man, Iron Man, X-Men, all sorts of things. So in the 90s, that was pretty much my biggest collection, was all the Toy Biz stuff, Marvel stuff. Then I kind of had a little bit more purchasing power myself, and that was during the time of like Spawn static figures. So I was a big Spawn fan, collected that. Took a little bit of hiatus, you know, slowed down a little bit, and then came back with Legions. I was really intrigued with the customization of it, and then kind of making your own characters.
Have you ever made an irrational decision to get a toy?
Oh, I think we all have, right? Yeah. Oh man. Yes, and especially being married, you know, my wife reminds me of that every so often. I definitely went a little bit heavy on some Kickstarter purchases when they were first up, and put myself in a little bit of a bind, you know, because a couple of issues rose, like, you know, some car trouble in here. But luckily I was able to make amends, sold off some things, and, you know, restored balance in the universe, you know, so it worked out, so it was good.
All right, do you get like a rush when you buy things, or do you regret them?
Yes. There's definitely some, like, this form of excitement that comes to when you see something really cool. Not necessarily have to be a fan of it to start with, but, you know, the aesthetic of it and the overall look of it just kind of makes you a fan of it. So there's definitely been a lot of times where I've seen something that I wasn't really planning on getting or anything like that, and just from the look of it, I'm just like in awe of it, and I'm like, I need to have that. So there's definitely a form of dopamine that, you know, whenever you see something that looks awesome, you get that rush. So definitely could say it happens more often than not. Coming from collecting from a young age, and, you know, being a little kid and wanting to customize your figures, and you didn't really have that ability to do so, and now you know, the sky's the limit, is also a great example of how the toy industry has kind of grown and evolved throughout the years. And then for us too, being toy fans first and foremost, you know, these are all the things that we really wanted to pour into our line. So it's kind of like, you know, those wishes we had as kids, you know, we come to fruition now with the toy line. So it's great to see everybody just, you know, expanding on the toys.
Yeah. So is the hope one day to be in like Target, Walmart?
I don't think so. You know, we really want to collect. We really want to stay to that collector aspect of the toy line. We're not so much focused on like a mass production of it. We want things to eventually run out and build some type of value, just because of how we kind of grew up with toys, and that's how it was for us. So I don't think so. I don't see that. You know, maybe more so the collegians, but again, I don't know.
But do you think that if you didn't go into Walmart and Target, that's kind of limiting the access for the younger generation, where they could be like, oh, I want this Savage Crucible, now I want to start collecting from Target.
Right. I guess it is a double-edged sword, you know. especially with retail, it's something that, we've kind of grown up and become accustomed to. Like, hey, we go to the supermarket, or, we go to a retail store to find specific things, But from my experience, and, this is from like Hasbro and, with Marvel and G.I. Joe, is that you'll often go there and you won't be able to find anything, because, somebody went in and either cleared it out or anything like that. So, I think we're doing a good job right now of having kind of our own site and selling ourselves. I guess if ever, something arises and we need to gonna travel down that road, it's always a possibility. So, but I think for right now, it's nice just kind of being that collector niche market, so.
Yeah. How many hours did it take you to do this?
377. Yeah, I timed all my stuff. Yeah, I do, because that question gets asked a lot, and I hate being like, 2 weeks, a month. So
is it because you're getting paid for that time that you're like writing it down, or you like to know what the commitment was?
That, but also because I like to kind of value it, make sense with the money, where, a lot of times someone might say, hey, $2,500 for this is a lot of money. But then when you tell them I put in 377 hours and you factor it in and you do the math, you're like, well, you're kind of making less than minimum wage. So maybe it isn't that much. But the sticker shock is always there, obviously.
Oh, of course.
I wanted to do something big and something different that hadn't been done. And I kind of wanted to do what I grew up on, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're doing something so big, I feel like it has to be a sort of a passion. Otherwise, you kind of lose that steam when you're doing it. So Power Rangers being one of the things I grew up with, and having a decent amount of fans and market, and then Mezco having dropped those was kind of the catalyst that forced everything else. Because I did have the Hasbro ones, and they're nice, but these are the ones that I prefer aesthetic-wise, and I felt as though, like, what do you need for these? It's either going to be a Zord, which can be done, but would be a little unrealistic because it would be 12 feet tall, or the Command Center. So I opted with the Command Center and the whole diorama display with the inside and then the exterior on the outside.
Crit was created based off of a D&D game that I was playing with my friends, a superhero D&D. It's an Arthurian superhero tale, so King Arthur is the first superhero in my universe. And my friends go to work one day, they get superpowers, and then it's just utter chaos after that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meets My Hero Academia. So you can go to homebrewedcomics.com, and I've got the Kickstarter link right there. We are, I think, 12 days left, fully funded in 30 minutes. We've already unlocked one of the stretch goals. This was my last Kickstarter.
Okay.
I had some left over, and the printer, he actually printed a few extra for me because we weren't sure how they turn out. And so I saved them because I had a Toy Con coming up. So I said, hey, what's better than to show up at a Toy Con than with toys?
I mean, that is a very good plan.
And then I have a stuffed animal that's a character in my book too. That's Samedi. He loves rum and cigars. There's actually a book where he is just too drunk to even do anything because they forgot he existed. So the story was he was drunk that day.
Oh, okay.
He called out of work.
That's funny.
So everything you read in the book happened at our table. Like, I record everything.
Someone was too drunk to show up to work, and they were really liking their cigar.
They were really liking their cigar. My cat was too drunk that day. But no, everything that happens is determined by the dice rolls. So when they fail in the book. When they succeed, it's a big moment for them in the book. All the dialogue you read comes out of their mouths, not mine. I let them write their own dialogue because I record everything, which is good and bad because sometimes they're like, I didn't say that. And I'm like, yes, you did. And I pulled up the recording and I have the receipts.
How do you think a Kickstarter has affected the way that you do your art and the way your creative process is?
It's changed everything because now you've got to think about a broader scale. It's not just a small scale of people. This is going out to the public. This is going out to people that are spending a good amount of money on your book. So when I go to every single issue, I want it to level up because people are paying for this and they're going to Kickstarter, and sometimes they're taking a risk on something they've never seen.
I think that's where a lot of your creativity is coming in. Like Grindhouse Toys, Chris, what he's doing, it's amazing. Yeah. 375, awesome. They look like the VHS tapes. They're incredible. And so I told Chris, I was like, as soon as you have product, we want to put it in our store. So that's the thing that we're trying to do. Those independent, really creative people that are kind of pushing the boundaries of what they're doing with action figures.
This is Colonel Malum. He is our main antagonist. He is a evil German soldier officer that has pretty much taken over the whole Axis powers because he now has everybody possessed.
I've seen a lot of like newer stuff around here. What do you have that's most vintage?
Oh, most vintage. Come this way. 70s and 80s stuff, some 70s things that I would have played with as a kid. Not these actual ones, but you've got Buck Rogers from 79, Scotty from Star Trek the Motion Picture, also Eagle Force, some vintage Kenner Star Wars figures, Transformers from late 80s, Silverhawks, and then over here, all kinds of fun things like Tom Land Space Guys, a vintage Gumby from the 60s, Flash Gordon figures, Star Wars, a almost on-card vintage Ninja Turtle, Alien from the 90s, Robin, so lots of good fun vintage. Ish specifically asked me to bring vintage, so this is what we have.
Perfect. What is your most expensive item in the booth?
Most expensive? Probably this blue graded AFA Silverhawks Bluegrass. Been graded by the AFA, grade of 80 overall.
I'm learning that it's a lot of like fans' opinions, so it's coming from the people.
Listen
not
to the
just a
fans.
huge corporation.
We're the ones that are telling you what we want. That's what. So like with McFarlane, for example, we finally get McFarlane to where he's giving us soft goods, he's giving us accessories. So what do? They sell DC to Mattel. So it's like, well, listen to the people, listen to what we're telling you. The same thing with comic book movies. Oh my God, source material's there, just follow it. That's all you got to do. It's a success, follow it. It's been around for 80 plus years for a reason. Follow it.